Hello there, welcome to Crosstalk. This is Enterprise Television. Kingsley Bass is my name. Here's today's hot topic on Crosstalk. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu, is turning 65. And instead of the usual fanfare, the cakes, flowers, and those glossy birthday pages in the papers, she's requesting Nigerians to donate toward completing the long-forgotten National Library project in Abuja. She says that's the best gift anyone could give her.
By the grace of God, I will be turning 65 years old on the 21st September 2025. And this happens to be a Sunday. This is why I have decided to dedicate the day to God for all His blessings in my life and having a quiet birthday. I wish to appeal to those who would like to send a birthday card, cakes, flowers, greetings in the newspapers, or gifts. Should please send the funds to the designated account for a special project close to my heart, among many others. The completion of the National Library. This will be the...
So there you go. First Lady, Senator Remi Tinubu there. And you've heard her. Oh, well, so say congratulations to her. Here's the talking point on Crosstalk today. Some persons have hailed this as a noble, selfless move that puts education first. Some other Nigerians say that this is a slap in the face. So the big question today on Crosstalk is, should a project as important as the National Library really be left to birthday donations? Or is this exposing how government has failed in its basic responsibilities? Welcome again to Crosstalk. Kingsley Bass is my name. I'm joined by two very patriotic political commentators, Nigerian political commentators, I dare say. Jimmy, I know, joins me virtually today. Jimmy, many thanks for joining me.
Good to be here. Thanks very much for bringing me to discuss this very, I think, very important issue that has been trending for some time in Nigeria.
Yes. I thought you used the opportunity to say congrats to the First Lady at 65.
She hasn't clocked 60. Yeah, it's still September 21st. We'll probably do that.
She has said don't go to the cover pages, so don't bother. Just simply donate to her project. Well, political commentator Benga Yonuga Paul is part of the mix today on Crosstalk. Benga, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon to you. And let me wish the First Lady happy birthday in advance. You know, as the president is the father of the nation, and we are citizens, if we want to do it like Yahweh terms in Yoruba land, the First Lady is Yahweh.
Oh well. All right, let's get to the conversation. There will be time for further congratulations in coming days, but this conversation about donating to a national project and one of great importance as a National Library, which has been in the conversation or in national discourse since way before the 1990s. Yes, I suppose in 1980s, and she has revived that conversation. So yes, gentlemen, the first question to you, gentlemen, would be if this appeal by the First Lady inspires you or irritates you. I'll begin with you, Benga.
Like I've said, that I am happy that the vice president, the First Lady is clocking 65, and I'm also super delighted that she's using that auspicious occasion to call for donation for the National Library. For those who are condemning her, they are just being mischievous, as far as I'm concerned, because one, it is not the regime of our husband that did not complete the National Library. and understanding that government is a continuum, she wants this thing to be finished during their time in office. And so she used her resourcefulness and ingenuity to look for a way to get that thing done. And if you watch that video closely, she's not asking all Nigerians to donate to the project. She's only asking those who wish to contribute money to do posters, to do flyers, to do adverts in newspaper, in radio, and on TV, not to do that, but rather they should convert the money into this laudable project. And if you look at the Naira and Kobo of it, you will see that she is a very smart woman, because a first lady, a person of her level and caliber. I mean, recently, Dele Momodu and the governor of Osun State, respectively, both got up 65.
Minga, please hold your thought. Let's go to break. We'll be back in just a moment to continue this. Okay, stick around. This is Crosstalk. So yeah, there you go, my guests, two political commentators, as we get straight to the conversation. So gentlemen, let's get talking. I mean, one of the major talking points, and this is the way I like that we start this conversation. Does this call by the First Lady, this appeal for donation, does this inspire you, or this does irritate you, having watched that clip? I'll begin with you, Benga.
All right, thank you very much. I think the call for donation by the First Lady is a very laudable effort from her part personally. And if you listen carefully, it's just like the situation where Baba Adeboye called for donation recently, and he didn't call for donation from Nigerians. He's calling for donation from his children. And the same way, this First Lady is not calling for donation from all Nigerians. She's calling for donation from all those who would have wished to do radio, TV, newspaper, and all kind of adverts to celebrate her. And I think we must commend her resourcefulness in that aspect. Just a few months back, both Dele Momodu and Governor Adeleke clocked 65. And if you check the number of newspaper adverts that were placed to congratulate them, and you put it in perspective in terms of Naira and Kobo, center spread for most newspaper starts from minimum of maybe 1.5 million for the least famous or the newspaper that don't have very wide national reach, while for newspapers that have very wide national reach and readership, it goes as high as 10 million plus. And I remember that during Governor Adeleke's birthday, I picked about 3 newspapers that usually get supplied to my office in the morning, and there was virtually no news to read, as all the pages from start to finish of those newspapers were filled with messages and greetings for his birthday. And if I do a quick mathematics of the cuff of my head, people spent as much as 80 to 100 million naira in placing adverts, from those who placed small space, to those who placed half page, to those who placed full page, for those who placed the front cover, the center spread, and the front inner cover. And if you add up all of this money, it is not less than 60 to 80,000 per one. 60 to 80 million per one in those newspaper. I mean, as in for the entire newspaper, if you add the amount for the small and whatever. So, by the time we have about maybe 40 newspaper across the nation. So you can imagine if those 40 newspaper will generate 80 million per one from birthday gift greetings to the First Lady on her birthday, and she is asking that money should rather be put to this laudable cause. So you are talking about 800 million times 4, that's about 1.3.2 billion naira from those newspaper alone. Then add it to how much advert goes in on TV, on radio, and on other medium like that. So
Okay.
you are talking a billions of naira that will go to this project. The fact that people are saying it's a national, it's not only in Nigeria that they use fundraising to build national projects. Even in the so-called Sena climbs, in the so-called more advanced climbs, we have seen it several times where they will hold special gala to raise fund for national project. I mean, even the President Donald Trump recently, was selling gold visa card just to raise fund for the nation. So I don't
Okay,
think there is anything wrong
let's
in her
let,
appealing.
let's now turn to Jimmy. Jimmy, you've heard Gbenga. He's gone down the lane
Yeah.
of mathematics. He's calculated how much it might cost several persons to make newspaper editorials wishing the First Lady well. But what do you say? Did that broadcast appealing for funds to construct the National Library, did that inspire or irritate you in some way, Jimmy?
While it might not irritate me, I see it as a slap on the face of the Ministry of Education and on the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, because I do remember that one of the projects that Tunji Alausa said he was going to embark on was the National Library, which have been abandoned. I think it started from 2006, was abandoned in 2012, and ever since nobody has touched it. He also mentioned that the funding will come from the trust fund, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, and it will be by face, you know. Um, for as much as I respect and really like our First Lady, I believe that she goofed on this because there's no reason at all to, do a video and ask Nigerians to donate. It's not your pet project. The National Library doesn't belong to you. It's a national library, you know. So there's no reason for you to do a video and ask Nigerians to. I think that just goes beyond. I just feel, for want of words, I would just say eye service. You know, yeah, you are somebody who loves education. We know her background in education as well, for the fact that her both her certificates are from the educational sector, or the education college, so to speak. But I don't think that really was necessary for her to now ask Nigerians to donate or to complete the project. Not at all.
So do you think this is politically
They
motivated?
renewed. They renewed. Well, I don't. Well, partly it is politically motivated. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's a way of, especially attracting young people to the fact that Ahmed Bola Tinubu, the president, cares for the nation. And recall that her project is the renewed Hope
Hope
Agenda Initiative.
initiative.
That's what she runs. And for the past 2 years, I mean, they've actually distributed about 12.9 billion naira, for different reasons, which is laudable. When you look at women empowerment, providing for people whose houses are affected by flood or banditry and the rest. I applaud her for that. But what we know is that behind those billions of naira that have been donated, we do know that people like Dangote, Otedola, and the rest, anonymously, yeah, they don't want it out in the open, but they have donated to her cause. So if you have to do anything, why not secretly go to them and ask them that, please, let's do this, and rather than asking Nigerians to say, oh, donate. Yeah, you like the idea of the National Library, but it's not your project. It's not the Senator Remi Tinubu Library. Not at all. It's the National Library.
Well,
You
we've
have the
seen,
minister, because
we've seen,
I mentioned the minister earlier on. That's a
yes.
slap on the
It
minister.
is.
That's an insult to the minister who have actually previously talked
Ben-
about how that project will
It
be
was going
done
to
face
fix
by
it.
face.
Okay, good. Benga seemed to disagree. By the way, we've seen Benga, but Jimmy just mentioned the fact that it's not the First Lady's project. But I was just going to say that, well, we've seen several projects in the country so far in the last 2 years named after President Bola Tinubu. So maybe with the completion
No,
of this,
that's a different one. Let me just put that. That's a different one. That's the president.
Yeah, no, I'm saying maybe the National Library would then be named after the First Lady if it's constructed with this font. But yeah, let's get to Benga.
Forget about the naming. You see, forget about the naming.
Yes.
It is you and I, your children and my children, that would eventually use it. Many of these people who you are talking about making this effort have personal libraries at home that their children cannot even exhaust if their children were given to, education or reading. Some people have this hunger for just reading and researching and all the rest. So if their children were to be given to such adventure, many of them have enough resources, and some already have libraries in their house that books there are inexhaustible. So, and I like the fact that Jimmy said this is not a Remi Tinubu project but a national project, and that is the more reason why we must give kudos to her for taking it up. If you're saying, oh, it's a slap to Tunji Alausa, I don't believe it. I think we must also give kudos to Tunji Alausa, because if you look at it, the First Lady didn't just wake up among the plethora of projects that are in the nation to say this is the one I'm choosing to mark my birthday with. So who knows whether it is the Minister of Education that actually went and said, mommy, this one, you need to help us on this, because if we want to do it face by face, we may not be able to finish it before we leave office or before our first term finishes, and we don't want to leave anything to chance. We want to finish this thing and get it done. So who knows whether it's a synergy, because like the account that she has given, she said that it is the Ministry of Education that is in charge of the monitoring of the account. And talking about the account quickly, let me digress. What I would advise them is to do more awareness between now and that time, because I'm sure that a lot of people are going to create clone accounts, clone this her message, such that while the one that is broadcasted nationally is the one saying a certain bank account, boys on the street can clone everything and ask for donation for the same project in another account, and at the end of the day, we will come back here to argue that, oh, they raised this amount of fund, where did it go?
Isn't that why this is a very dangerous thing to have done? So if donations were going to go, shouldn't it go straight to the ministry, for example?
Thank you, Benga. Thanks for mentioning that, because I was about to go to that cloning before you mentioned it. Thanks for mentioning it. That's another thing, because the first lady she's treading a dangerous path. Let's be honest ourselves, because what you just mentioned can happen, and at the end of the day, we start questioning, and it will seriously backfire, where people point fingers at her to say, where is the money we donated and the rest, So, I mean, if you want a donation for a national library, she has various ways of doing that. You can do a fundraising, and I don't agree that that they have any synergy, or that she has a synergy or any talk with the Minister of Education on that, because the Minister of Education probably would have told her that, no, ma, I mean, yes, she's the first lady, but
Jimmy,
she's not part of the cabinet.
I think
she's not a member of the cabinet.
I think it's because you are not in our party.
She's not a member of the cabinet. I understand. Yes, she has influence. I'm not going to take that away.
Influence.
It's
not just about influence.
It's important to the government and the rest. But what I'm saying,
particular Minister of Education.
What I'm saying is that yes, let's separate her office from the government. She's not a member of the cabinet. She's not a member of
the National Library.
The Ministry of Education has a budgetary allocation, and of course, Tunde Alausa have said that they plan to do it face by face, and the funds will come from the Tertiary Education Trust Fund. So I see it as totally unnecessary for her to do a video and calling on Nigerians to donate.
Jimmy, Gbenga, you have the floor.
Okay.
The Ministry of Power has funds, but you and I always buy our transformer. As old as you are, as old as I am, you will be lying to say you did not contribute money in buying transformer in your neighborhood. I did contribute money to buy transformer in my neighborhood. The Ministry of Works have money for a budget allocation to build roads, both at state, federal, and local level. But I can take my video now and go out on my street, and I will tell you that the little project that we have done on my street to grade the road, to make the road motorable, is by self-effort of we, the residents in this CDA. The ministry, there are so many ministries that I can go on and on about who have budgetary allocation, but Nigerians have to intervene all the time to get the job done. And if a Nigerian holding a high level office by virtue of association through her husband is calling for donation, I don't think that we should say it is bad, because we have seen where, I mean, in Maine, in the US, there's a state called Maine, a very poor state. We've seen a lot of self-effort by the first lady of that state and the governor to seek for fund, like a crowdfunding project, to do projects within community. There are so many states within US, as big as they are, as sophisticated as they are, and several other countries. Finland has a national library in almost equivalent of every local government. And yes, the government there puts a lot of fund into it, but there are also a lot of private funding that goes on to make those national projects visible in those spaces.
Before
so
I get back to
Nigeria,
Jimmy, yeah.
I think the First Lady is on the right course.
Okay.
And if you know her relationship with Tunji Alausa is one of Asiwaju's boys from Lagos days. So, and you will know that the synergy will be there somehow. They don't need to come out and tell us. These are people who see each other almost whenever they want to, for the last 20 years.
Okay, just before we get back to Jimmy real quick. Jimmy, I'm coming to you in just a moment, but just one quick question to Benga following his last comment, right? Do you think that a Nigerian citizen who is not close to power, who's not the First Lady, who's not connected to power in any way, would have been granted such a permission to use some accounts, for their birthday or some celebration, link that to a ministry and be given the permission to raise funds for a national project?
I think a lot of Nigerians who are not close to power have done that in the past. Go to the University of Lagos, for example. You will see litany of projects done by private individual, and they would not have been able to do it without approval from the Ministry of Education. Because you cannot just come and say, I want to put this thing in a federal university. You must get approval before you put it. Even though it's a good project, they will definitely approve. But go to almost all, one person that I would praise in that situation is Baba Adebutu Kensington. There is hardly any institution you go to in the Southwest, especially in Ogun State, where it comes from, that you will not see, both private institution, private university, private college of education, and public owned, that you will not see a project in the name of Adebutu there. So there are many of individuals who are not necessarily close to government, who are not necessarily close to power, who have been doing this in the past, and some of them do it through fundraising, to get the project done.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Jimmy. Jimmy, you have the floor. How do you respond to this?
What I would say is that the angle I would look at it is that a lot of people, just as Benga said earlier on, of course, you also underlined that earlier on, that her message was to people, well-wishers and the rest, but well-wishers are Nigerians. And for a lot of people, they see it as very insensitive that this period of time that we're in the country, they looking at how the economic hardship and the rest, and how a lot of people hold her husband, who is the president, responsible for what's going on. I'm a huge supporter of the president and his policies, no doubt about it. But then, looking at the hardship, the economic hardship and the rest, and then boldly, you have the First Lady telling people to donate. It raises questions to a lot of people to feel that, we never chop. You're asking us to donate to a library and the rest. Don't you know how it is? Don't you know how difficult for people to go by every day? And then you want them, for the little they have, to donate to a national library. Isn't the national library so important? And the rest,
It's not asking people who never shop.
So, well, see, it is still Nigeria. She calls on well wishers.
Yeah,
Nigerians are
yeah.
well wishers.
I mean, thinking about it
He
from Jimmy's point of
he didn't
view, a further
mention
question
names.
to that.
Yeah.
Pardon me.
So,
Would this further promote, encourage psychophancy? Because at this point, political
exactly.
allies will want to press her. People
That
would
is
want to
it,
do
of
things.
course.
Even people like Jimmy said, we never chop well. Will want to show working now.
The thing is that, yeah, truly, psychopaths will come in. People will, people who want to sort of appear to the first lady like they are, very close to her
Supportive.
and the rest. Well,
Is
it
it
will always be
involved?
there, whether she wants a National Library donation or not. It will always be there.
Thank you
But my
for
fact is
stating
that,
that.
yeah, but my fact is that for lots of Nigerians that came across that video, because that video was on her page and it had thousands, if not millions, of people who follow her, questioning that why would we go about that? Another angle you also look at it's that it is political. Yeah, it might be partly political, but largely political as well. And I think that's why the ADC had a field day with her, issued a statement and telling her that, please, National Library is not your purview at all, because then it seems as if with the whole policies that the president has come up with that have led to the hardship in the country, where lots of people are blaming him for, skyrocketing prices of food and the rest, she's the other one that is trying to calm things down. It looks like the president is using her to say, okay, why people are shouting, you go around the country. I like what she's doing because if you know how she goes about the country, she has visited almost all the 6 geopolitical areas she has gone with her renewed hope initiative. She has had direct engagement with people, listened to their stories and stuff, which is laudable, which is
Right.
noble. But when it comes to this library stuff, I think it's a way of just trying to attract the youthful vote. Let me use that, or the youth towards the government. Say, oh, it's a national library, it's education.
If
Oh,
you
people are
think,
so
if
much.
you think, if you think
And,
National
and
Library,
then
if
the
you think
funds will
National
come from
Library would
them.
attract the youth's vote, that means you have not read the room politically. The
No, no,
politics
no.
of Nigeria today, the
Benga,
politics of
Benga,
Nigeria
it has the
today,
potential. Let's be honest.
it
Benga,
doesn't
wait.
have any potential. Me, I
Benga,
can
it
tell
has the
you,
potential. No, it
no,
has the potential of attracting the
from
youthful vote.
someone who
Let me
is
let me give you
on
an
the field,
example. Let me give you an
my
example. Do you
brother.
know that a Bauchi supporter, a young
Mm-hmm,
boy in Bauchi, what's his name? I'm trying to recall it, Musa Kasham or something like that, has
mm-hmm.
donated his salary to the cause. So imagine that young guy, and the guy said, yeah, because he still believes in this government, he believes in the first lady, what she has been doing, he's donated his entire salary to her,
Has
to
that
that
My
cause.
started already?
brother,
That's the first step.
I thought that
And
was
that's
going
a
to
young
take some
person.
time.
my brother, you see, we are just deceiving ourselves hiding behind the finger. If I want to get the attention of the president and leverage on social media now, I can do the same thing. People can do that, not necessarily because they believe in the project. People, I can tell you, I believe in you, I love you, I do this, I do that, and there's something else in my mind. But I know that social media now gives me a lot of power to have access to a lot of people that I would normally not have access to before. So I can do and undo to get such attention, and which will, like you have said earlier on, it's a form of psychophancy that will pay me in the future. But as somebody who is on the field, I will tell you that doing educational projects will not win the kind of votes that they are looking for. What will win the kind of votes they are looking for is for them to throw parties and say, across all the 774 local governments, we are throwing a birthday party for the first lady. Come and have free food. And as you are coming to have free food, bring your voters card along. That will give a lot more mileage. And I'm telling you for free, as someone who is not just an analyst, but someone who plays this politics and knows what is obtainable on the street.
Inga,
And
don't you
I'm not
think the
someone,
Nigerians are now wiser
so that
than
I'm not
that?
someone who will try to
Yeah.
be, who will try to
I,
be,
Benga, I disagree with you.
who will try to use finesse to lie through his teeth.
I disagree with
And
you,
that's the reality.
Benga.
So, and that is the
The
more
thing is
reason why
that
me I'm commending her for not going
yeah,
that route and going this
Benga,
route
you know
that
why I
is
disagree with
less
you?
popular yet will be more beneficial to Nigerians on the long
Why I
run.
disagree with you is that when you mention library, it is associated with young people. It's associated with education. let's be honest
What
ourselves.
percentage of young people in Nigeria read? What percentage of young people in
Okay,
Nigeria go to the publicly available library?
Benga, it's not about, it's the optic. It's not about, oh, how many percentage got. It is the optic. Take, for example, if it's Peter Obi that is calling for maybe, a donation towards a project, do you know how many young people will gravitate towards that? So they see it as, oh, there's another way that the first lady, who have one way or the other endeared herself to a lot of young people these days. Let's be honest herself, she has succeeded in that. You could bring those people. So it's more of the optic than, oh, whether they use the library.
All
It
right.
starts with one. The guy I mentioned, the Baptist supporter I mentioned, a young guy in his 20s, he donated. The next thing you find another a 20-year-old or 30-year-old donated. It goes like that. And before you know it, a lot of people say, oh, Remi Tinubu, the first lady, laudable. Look at what she's doing. And you know how it is in Nigeria. Trends are very important. Once you find 4, 3 people, that's even how it started with young people with Peter Obi. It started with some couple of young people. And the next thing, people joined the bandwagon. It became a fashionista to be an obedient. So that's the same way. Before you know it, a lot of young people now say, oh, Remi Tinubu, we like her. They don't even care about the library or whatever, but it becomes a trend for them to be associated
And there is
with her.
nothing wrong in them liking their first lady. Is there anything
I'm not
wrong
saying
with
there's
that?
nothing wrong, but what I'm not saying is that's what I'm saying, that it's partly political what is being done,
And if
what she
she's
did as well.
achieving that likeness with a laudable project as the National Library, I think we should give her kudos for that.
Okay, gentlemen,
Well,
gentlemen. Well, you've shared your views, and those views valid in their rights, and we'll leave things there. For some persons rather, this is the First Lady showing leadership, right? For other people, this is a distraction. For as Jimmy said, for example, the ministry should be focused on getting this project done. That person said, oh no, it's good, so the ministry can focus on other things. That's the Ministry of Education. But with your various point of views, as mentioned, they're valid in their right, and what matters is the the mindset that comes with that, the mindset to develop the country and make the country a better place, and that's the goal. Let's leave things there, gentlemen. I'd like to thank you so much for your time on Crosstalk today. Thank you so much for watching as well. You who have been watching there. You can stop by the comment section. Let us know what you think, right, today. Gentlemen, Benga, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Jimmy, many thanks.
Thank you very, very much for having me as well.
This is virtual. You can just send that hand across and just have a handshake.
Benga is my person.
Alrighty then, that's Crosstalk today. Many thanks again for watching. Please do well to visit our website at www.enterprisetvnews.com. You can also like, comment, and follow across social media platforms. It's Enterprise TV across platforms. Kingsley Bass is my name. Again, stop by the comment section. I'll be reading and we'll get talking about this feedback. Until next time on Crosstalk, may God continue to bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Bye for now.